Meghan Markle is becoming more like Michael Jackson by the day. And by the way, I'm not talking about talent. I'm talking about the odd way that she is choosing to raise her family.
Meghan Markle allegedly returned from Britain without a single uncontrolled photograph appearing anywhere. No airport picture, no grainy image outside a private home, no paparazzi shot through a car window, nothing.
First of all, why are we hearing about her disguises? If you're going out in disguises, then why is it being spoken about? Just go out in your disguises, shut your mouth. This is because she wants people to know about it. This is all a branding thing. I don't even know why we would even hear about her going out in disguises. She is not all that. It's ridiculous.
And now, almost immediately after returning to Montecito, we are being told that Meghan has become so terrified of being recognized that she allegedly leaves the house wearing wigs, enormous sunglasses, baseball caps, oversized sweatshirts, and clothes designed to hide her entire appearance. But this story has one enormous problem.
Because Meghan obviously believes in privacy for her children. Of course, she won't be sharing any images. It's like, seriously, if you are leaking details of your private holiday to People magazine, you're not just a D-lister, Tash. You're like a reality star. Like even the Kardashians do not brief People magazine about private family holidays unless they're trying to promote some particular brand.
Only days ago, Meghan was being accused of placing her own family in front of supposedly fake paparazzi, releasing carefully selected photographs from the UK trip and transforming what was presented as a private visit into another international media event.
The wig, the hat, the glasses, she believes it's the only way she can move around unnoticed. According to sources, the undercover routine intensified after Meghan's recent trip to Britain, where she wasn't photographed once, and perhaps even more surprisingly, barely caused a ripple. After the UK, she's become obsessed with staying invisible.
So which version are people expected to believe? Is Meghan desperately trying to disappear from photographers? Or does she only want to disappear until she is ready to release the photographs herself? According to the latest report, disguises have allegedly become a normal part of Meghan's life whenever she leaves the Sussex's Montecito property. The claimed routine sounds less like a casual attempt to avoid attention and more like a full undercover operation.
I think Meghan is just trying to bring a lot of attention to herself, and everything that goes around her branding is about all these different stories being placed here just to give her some kind of credibility with, her status as someone who is reputable, who is high level A-lister.
A wig reportedly changes her hair. A baseball cap covers the wig. Giant sunglasses hide most of her face. Loose trousers and oversized tops supposedly conceal her body shape. Everything is allegedly chosen before she steps outside, because Meghan apparently believes it is the only way she can move around without being recognized. There is nothing unusual about a famous person wearing sunglasses or a hat. Celebrities do it constantly.
So what are they trying to achieve here? Can I give you my theory, Tash? They have to keep pretending that they're a couple in demand, that there is a bounty on their head, that the paparazzi really do want them. So while they're briefing about this family holiday, the message, Tash, to the paparazzi, and by the way, to the who they claim are after them too, is hunt us down in Portugal. We need you to hunt us down, because unless you hunt us down, all of our argument about permanent British government paid security collapses.
Before we continue, one quick thing. One thing I've realized is that most families don't have their important information organized in one place. That's exactly why I recommend the Family Vault, a simple, printable, and fillable organizer where you can keep everything from important documents and insurance to medical information, passwords. You'll find the link in the description, or you can simply scan the QR code on your screen. Now let's get back to today's story. They use private entrances, different cars, quiet restaurants, security teams, and carefully planned routes. The bizarre part is that every detail of Meghan's alleged secret disguise has somehow been handed directly to the press. If this system is truly designed to keep her identity hidden, why does the entire world now know exactly what to look for?
Yet, if Meghan and Harry are to be believed, they're using private jets again to cross the Atlantic?
This story is weird. Okay. They're trying to say it's like drunk driving when you fly on a jet, Dan? I'm confused about that. Like, what does that mean?
As in, it's so irresponsible.
A secret disguise stops being secret the moment a source describes the wig, the cap, the baggy clothing, and the enormous glasses to a publication. The story does not make Meghan appear invisible. It turns her alleged invisibility into another publicity campaign, and the timing could not be more damaging. During Meghan's reported visit to Britain, not one clear, spontaneous photograph of her emerged. There was no image of her arriving. There was no photograph of her walking through an airport.
They were there.
Yeah.
They were after us, okay? They wanted us. They tracked us down. Promise. Security really is an issue. Oh, but there just happened to be no pictures. Well, Tash, I usually know how this game works. If the paparazzi do capture pictures, they are published because that's how it works. They're not necessarily published in the mainstream British media or even the mainstream American media, but they find their way into a magazine in
Europe.
France or Australia or
yeah.
Europe. Exactly.
Nobody captured her entering a vehicle or leaving a private residence. There was not even a distant, blurry photograph that could be confidently identified as Meghan. For someone whose public story has repeatedly focused on relentless photographers and unbearable media attention, that complete silence was impossible to ignore. There could be a simple explanation. The trip may have been tightly controlled. The locations may have been private. Security could have prevented access. Photographers may simply have missed her. But critics immediately raised a much more humiliating possibility.
This is so nuts. Like, how thick do they think we are? Firstly, why are you briefing about your personal holiday while then claiming your personal holiday is private? You don't see King Charles and Camilla do that. You don't see William and Catherine do that. If they are on a private family holiday, it remains a private family holiday. And as a result, there are no paparazzi pictures. Secondly, how twisted is it to announce to the world, oh no, the paparazzi were there, Tash?
What if Meghan was not photographed because photographers were not desperately hunting for her? That question strikes directly at the image Harry and Meghan have spent years presenting to the public. They have repeatedly described their relationship with the press as dangerous and overwhelming. Harry has fought major legal battles involving security and media intrusion. Protection concerns have influenced where the couple travels, how they travel, which events they attend, and whether they bring their family to Britain. Yet Meghan apparently received exactly what she has always claimed to want during the recent UK visit: privacy.
At this point, the disguise is probably attracting more attention than her face would.
No uncontrolled photographs, no visible paparazzi chase, no public confrontation, no image she did not approve. But according to this latest report, that experience did not make her feel safer. Instead, she allegedly returned to California even more determined to conceal herself. That is why this story is not really about a wig or a pair of sunglasses. It is about the contradiction at the center of Meghan's entire media image. When cameras appear, they are described as intrusive and threatening. When cameras do not appear, another story emerges explaining the extreme measures Meghan supposedly takes to escape them. Either way, Meghan remains in the headlines.
Meghan has this perception of herself that it's not reality. I mean, just look at all the lies she tells. Something is seriously wrong with Meghan, and I think that's why Harry has found himself in so much trouble now, even financially, because of the lies, the spins. Just nothing is legit, with them. And it's concerning, especially when other people are involved and children.
The public may not have received spontaneous pictures from the UK trip, but it still received photographs chosen and published by Meghan herself. Those images offered carefully controlled glimpses into moments that had supposedly remained completely private. Meghan decided which pictures would be seen, when they would be posted, and how the visit would be presented. The press did not control the images. Meghan did. That is not disappearing from public view. That is controlling the view. And then came the fake paparazzi controversy. Critics accused Meghan of presenting a situation as another disturbing encounter with photographers, even though they believed the scene appeared arranged, staged, or deliberately constructed for the cameras.
Meghan, it's the bottom. Just when you think she cannot go lower, she outdoes herself. As I've always said, Meghan's the best at being the worst.
Those accusations have not been independently confirmed. There is no verified proof that Meghan hired photographers or personally created the encounter, so the claims must remain allegations. But the reaction was still brutal, because the situation appeared to follow a pattern the public has noticed before. Cameras are condemned when they are uncontrolled. Cameras become useful when Meghan controls the final result. Now, directly after that controversy, the public is being told that Meghan cannot complete an ordinary trip outside Montecito without transforming herself into a completely different person. Wigs, hats, huge glasses, baggy clothing.
Duchess of Sussex has become so committed to flying under the radar that disguises are now a regular part of whenever she ventures beyond the gates of the couple's Montecito estate. We're told the look includes wigs, baseball caps, oversized sweatshirts, baggy pants, and sunglasses large enough to qualify as home security systems.
At the same time, photographs selected by Meghan continue spreading across social media and generating headlines around the world. The public is not being encouraged to forget about her. It is being directed toward the exact images she wants people to see. Meghan has every right to seek privacy. She should be able to visit a restaurant, enter a shop, or meet a friend without being surrounded by strangers holding cameras. But the report does not describe a simple baseball cap and sunglasses. It describes Meghan as though she has become so internationally recognizable that stepping beyond the gates of Montecito now requires a costume department. One source reportedly compared the alleged disguises to something Michael Jackson might have used. That comparison was always going to dominate headlines.
It doesn't make sense. We know that they don't have the money to, first of all, to fly a dog really seriously. I don't believe that. I don't think Meghan is in a position now to really make her brand work. So I think she's just trying all of these different things to bring credibility to herself.
But it also invited an extremely uncomfortable comparison between Meghan's public image and her actual level of fame. Michael Jackson experienced an almost unimaginable level of global attention. Airports could become chaotic when he arrived. Hotels attracted crowds. Thousands of people waited outside venues simply for the possibility of seeing him. A basic public appearance could become uncontrollable within minutes. Comparing Meghan's alleged wig and baseball cap to Michael Jackson does not automatically make her appear more famous. It risks making the entire story look ridiculous. Critics are now asking whether photographers are genuinely making Meghan's ordinary life impossible, or whether the Sussex publicity machine wants the public to believe that she remains one of the most relentlessly hunted women on Earth.
And then we come to the most mad part. The paparazzi are tracking them down. They are on their tail. Oh, yes, they were there. But there just happened to be no pictures whatsoever. So what happened instead? Meghan posted these.
There is also a strange historical connection behind the Michael Jackson comparison. In 2022, reports claimed Harry and Meghan had employed one of Jackson's former bodyguards to assist with their security in California. That old report does not prove anything about Meghan's alleged disguises. There is no confirmed evidence that the former bodyguard suggested a wig, designed an undercover routine, or had any involvement in this latest story. But the connection has created another humiliating headline. First came the reports about Michael Jackson's former security professional. Now comes the claim that Meghan is using Michael Jackson-style disguises. Security should be treated seriously. Harry's concerns about his family's safety are tied to painful experiences from his childhood and the loss of his mother.
Yeah, I would think that she would have wanted to be photographed. I'm surprised we didn't see her as well, Dan. It's kind of strange. See, I think that's what we have here. Someone that's just not... people are not really thinking about her like that. They really aren't. And I think she has this whole illusion about who she is. Her perceptions about who she is completely different than what we see.
His legal arguments over protection in Britain were never presented as a minor celebrity complaint. He has repeatedly argued that his risk did not simply disappear when he stopped working as a senior royal. Those concerns should not be mocked merely because people dislike Meghan or Harry. But serious security planning is very different from a colorful celebrity story involving wigs, enormous glasses, and jokes about local disguise shops suddenly becoming extremely busy. Once a supposedly private safety method becomes entertainment for the media, the story changes completely. It no longer sounds like a quiet security decision. It begins to sound like branding.
Do not live a normal existence, right? They live a freakish existence. They're like prisoners in a gilded cage with two paranoid parents who, for their own motivation, are sort of using their imagery in an odd way to make points that don't even exist. Because why else would Liam Maguire say, they're just so normal. They're just so normal, Tash. They just go to the beach and play. Like, This is not
What's
news.
wrong with California?
Yeah, exactly. But this is not news unless you're trying to prove something.
Perhaps an unnamed source exaggerated the details. Perhaps the publication turned a simple outfit into something far more dramatic. Perhaps the story was leaked without Meghan's approval. But regardless of who created the headline, the result is the same. Meghan receives another wave of international attention from a report explaining how desperately she wants to avoid international attention. The UK visit makes the contradiction even more obvious. Before the trip, there was speculation that private family moments could eventually be turned into photographs, footage, or content connected to a future project. After the visit, selected pictures began appearing. Then critics accused Meghan of using supposedly fake paparazzi to create another media narrative.
They just can't help themselves. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have now decided to brief to People magazine that their life in Portugal is just so blissful. No idea why we needed to know that. No one was asking. No one was trying to find them. Archie and Lilibet can simply be kids there. A source telling the magazine why the Sussexes keep returning to Portugal, where Archie and Lily are just so happy.
Now the public is being told that she returned from the very same trip convinced that she must hide underneath wigs to survive an ordinary outing in California. Every new report presents a different Meghan. One, Meghan demands complete privacy. Another, Meghan documents intimate moments and publishes them. Another, Meghan is accused of creating the type of camera attention she later criticizes. And now another version allegedly cannot leave home without disguising herself. All of those versions cannot comfortably exist at the same time. That does not prove every allegation against Meghan is true. It does not prove the paparazzi encounter was staged. It does not prove that every photograph was planned for commercial purposes. It also does not mean Harry's security concerns are imaginary.
For a security-conscious couple, Meghan even posted a local restaurant, which is apparently located near where it was rumoured that they purchased a property.
Here's my house! Here's my house! Come and visit!
Exactly this.
The larger problem is that Harry and Meghan have created such a complicated public strategy that every new explanation crashes directly into the one that came before it. When sympathy is needed, cameras become dangerous. When promotion is needed, cameras become valuable. When no photographers appear, their absence becomes evidence that Meghan has successfully gone undercover. When private photographs are later published, the release is described as personal, meaningful, and carefully controlled. Privacy no longer appears to mean staying outside the public conversation. It appears to mean choosing when the conversation begins. That is why critics are mocking the disguise report so aggressively. They do not necessarily believe Meghan is physically unable to leave her home.
She doesn't want anyone to recognize her. One insider tells Naughty But Nice everything is carefully planned. The wig, the hat, the glasses. She believes it's the only way she can move around unnoticed. According to sources, the undercover routine intensified after Meghan's recent trip to Britain, where she wasn't photographed once. And perhaps even more surprisingly, barely caused a ripple. After the UK, she's become obsessed with staying invisible.
They believe she is unable to leave the news cycle. A person who truly wants to move around unnoticed would probably not benefit from the public receiving a detailed list of every item used in the disguise. Imagine the alleged operation. Meghan stands inside the Montecito mansion selecting a wig. She places a baseball cap over it. Huge sunglasses cover her face. An oversized sweatshirt hides her figure. Loose trousers complete the transformation. Security checks the route, prepares a vehicle, and opens the estate gates. And then an unnamed source explains the entire method to the media. If the report is accurate, someone has publicly exposed the exact strategy Meghan allegedly uses to protect her identity. If it is inaccurate, someone has invented or exaggerated a bizarre story to place Meghan back in the headlines.
I do wonder if she's looking at the Michael Jackson playbook and thinking there was almost a bounty on the heads of Michael Jackson's children because of the way he disguised them, wore masks, wore veils. Do you think this is all part of some twisted commercial plan? Because she's never been scared of being seen before.
Neither possibility makes the Sussex operation appear professional. The reaction has also been influenced by Meghan's continued involvement in celebrity culture. She did not leave royal duties and completely disappear into a remote private life. She moved to California, signed entertainment deals, released media projects, appeared in interviews, launched lifestyle ventures, promoted products, attended public events, and continued using the Duchess of Sussex title. There is nothing illegal about any of that. Meghan is free to build businesses and pursue a career. But those decisions make the claim that she now requires Michael Jackson-level disguises much more difficult for the public to accept. Montecito is already filled with actors, producers, presenters, executives, and other extremely wealthy public figures.
The disguises alone is ludicrous. If someone saw you, what are they going to do? What? Oh, that's Meghan Markle. No one is trying to harm her, to grab her, to make her as if she is, as famous as Michael Jackson. It's ridiculous.
Many of them visit local businesses and attend private appointments without each appearance being described as a massive security emergency. Meghan may receive a different type of attention because of her connection to the British royal family. But critics believe the language surrounding her life repeatedly transforms normal celebrity management into an international crisis. Harry is dragged into the contradiction every time. His anger toward the press comes from genuine trauma. His relationship with photographers and newspapers was shaped long before he met Meghan. He has spoken repeatedly about the impact the media had on his mother, his childhood, and his adult life.
I do honestly wonder what their mental health is going to be like with Harry, who is so paranoid, so delusional. I mean, we saw it on Netflix with Meghan saying, "We're being followed, Harry." And you saw genuine fear flicker on his face. I don't think that he faked that moment in the car because Harry just cannot act. But then I suppose nor can Meghan really. But he did have that fear.
But Meghan's publicity cycle continues, placing Harry inside stories where the difference between protection and promotion becomes almost impossible to identify. The more exaggerated the headlines become, the harder it is for people to separate a legitimate security concern from another attention-grabbing celebrity narrative. That could become particularly damaging if Harry is genuinely attempting to rebuild a connection with Britain. Recent reports have focused on the possibility of more solo visits, private meetings, accommodation arrangements, and attempts to repair relationships without Meghan appearing beside him at every stage. A story about a wig may sound meaningless compared with those larger issues, but the underlying message is serious. The Sussex media operation still appears unpredictable, contradictory, and difficult to control. People in Britain do not need another private visit, followed by weeks of strategic leaks. They do not need personal meetings turning into content.
Wants to take photographs all of the time of them, but they have to turn around. I can't imagine what that does psychologically to a child growing up, going, "Oh, I want you to go play. I want you to chase your sister. I want you to go have your birthday dinner at Disney Resort, but you're not allowed to turn around. You're not allowed, go hug daddy, but make sure you turn your head."
They do not need a family trip, producing an endless sequence of stories involving secret photographs, staged paparazzi allegations, hidden footage, and dramatic disguises. Anyone considering a private conversation with Harry will want proof that the details can remain private. This latest story sends the opposite message. Even Meghan's alleged attempt to become invisible has somehow become exclusive content. The harshest interpretation is that Meghan was not disturbed by being photographed during the UK trip. She was disturbed because she was not photographed. No spontaneous picture appeared, no dramatic confrontation dominated the news, no uncontrolled image placed Meghan at the center of the visit. Then, shortly after she returned to California, a report appeared describing her as a woman so recognizable that she must hide behind a completely different face simply to leave her property. That interpretation could be unfair. It could be completely false.
I'm really surprised that we didn't see anything of Meghan. I think it just points to her brand in itself. She's just not that high level, and people are not really trying to find her, take her photos, unless she's calling people to show up to take her photo. People just are not doing that on their own.
Before we continue, I want to mention something really quick. Organizing your family's important information is one of those things most of us know we should do, but we keep putting it off. That's exactly why there's the Family Vault. It gives you one place to organize your important documents, insurance, medical information, passwords, and more, so everything is easy to find when it's needed. You'll find the link in the description, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. That's all. Now, let's get back to today's story. But critics find it believable because Meghan's previous choices have created the contradiction. She has spoken about protecting private moments while later releasing intimate photographs. She has criticized intrusive media coverage while using public attention to promote projects. She stepped away from royal duties while continuing to build much of her commercial identity around her royal connection. The alleged disguise therefore becomes another test of Meghan's credibility. The wig itself is not the scandal. The story surrounding the wig is the problem. Yesterday, critics were accusing Meghan of encouraging a paparazzi situation and then presenting herself as the victim. Today, reports claim she cannot leave the house without going undercover. Tomorrow, the public could receive another carefully selected photograph, another intimate post, or another exclusive explanation of why Meghan desperately needs privacy. The cycle continues because privacy has become part of the Sussex product.
It's bizarre. I mean, I do understand some parents don't want to expose their children on social media, the internet. It's dangerous, of course it is. But obviously, when you have the number of photographs that she's released, it becomes freakish. It becomes like a circus act. You know, lots of parents have pictures of their children's backs of their heads because kids run around, they don't sit still. But these are so heavily contrived and so posed. And I think that's why the children always look so rigid.
That may be why such a small story has become so enormous. People are not shocked that Meghan might wear a baseball cap. They are shocked by the performance built around it. The disguise is supposedly intended to hide Meghan, yet the report places her face across countless headlines. The sunglasses are supposed to prevent people from studying her appearance, yet the story encourages the public to examine every recent image. The wig is intended to create anonymity, yet it immediately becomes another recognizable symbol attached to the Meghan Markle brand. No one outside Meghan's inner circle currently knows how often she actually wears disguises. There are no clear public photographs proving that this is a regular routine. The information reportedly comes from unnamed sources and could have been exaggerated. But Meghan's team now faces an awkward choice. They can ignore the story and allow the mockery to continue. Or they can respond and give the disguise report even more publicity.
She was like, oh crap, I've just proved that we can move around Portugal. We can take the kids out to the beach. Harry and I can go around. And Harry's desperately still scraping, trying to get the security back. He's apparently still lobbying the Home Secretary. And I'm sure our latest Prime Minister no doubt will have a letter soon from Harry himself.
Either way, the headline has already caused damage because it perfectly matches the contradiction Meghan's critics believe they have been watching for years. She wants to be presented as one of the most watched women in the world, while simultaneously insisting she is desperately fighting not to be seen. She wants control over the photograph, the timing, the location, the message, and the reaction. But complete control over publicity is not the same thing as privacy. It is publicity with conditions. And those conditions appear to change whenever the attention begins slowing down. After a secretive UK visit, carefully released photographs, accusations involving fake paparazzi, and years of security arguments, Meghan is now facing perhaps the strangest report yet. She is allegedly leaving her home in elaborate disguises inspired by one of the most famous entertainers who ever lived. The wig may be real. The sunglasses may be real. The entire routine may be completely exaggerated.
Now she almost never leaves the house without some kind of disguise. Those close to the Sussexes say going incognito has always been part of the couple's playbook. Before their romance became public, Meghan and Prince Harry famously attended a Halloween party in Toronto dressed in costume, and Harry has spoken before about trying to blend into everyday life. But some royal insiders can't resist rolling their eyes. She acts like she's Michael Jackson.
But there is one thing the disguise cannot hide: the contradiction. If Meghan truly wants to disappear, why does every attempt to disappear become another exclusive headline? And if photographers are supposedly desperate to capture her every movement, why did she return from Britain without one uncontrolled picture appearing? Tell us what you think. Does Meghan genuinely need disguises to avoid being recognized? Or is this another attempt to make an ordinary celebrity outing sound like a worldwide security emergency? And after the fake paparazzi controversy, can Harry and Meghan continue selling the idea of privacy while releasing the photographs themselves? Leave your thoughts below, subscribe to Hollywood Yesterday, and turn on notifications, because when it comes to Meghan Markle, even disappearing somehow becomes another public performance.